So then, let us begin. Welcome back. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Where were we? We have loaded the game. Where were we indeed? You see, I have, in the last 2 days, ever since the last stream, played a bit more of this game on a separate save, and I must confess that I have played a bit of the GHOUL, though I did end that save before I could spoil myself too much, but that does mean I have now figured out what I need to do next. Related to this, the formula for elixir 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬. I have here a secret, a recipe of honey, asphodel, powdered ivory, and a mottled fungus that grows only where the dead are buried. This is our key to progress further along the path of the medium. But before we do that, I think we should establish some more of our bases. Luckily, we have a few funds, so let us heal it as quickly as possible. Where have I put the card of my cult? Oh, here it is. We're currently in the midst of promoting someone. The Locksmith's Dream, Volume 3. In this volume, notoriously, 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬's prose begins to disintegrate, and it is not clear which dreams are in fact her own. The Locksmith's Dream Trespasses, the third volume of Theresa 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐬𝐬's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. Some who have played this game may know that Theresa 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐬𝐬 is no longer among us. She is now the host of the place within the Mansus we call the Lodge of the Sage Knight, who was the previous owner of that place. And we have promoted 𝐿𝐻𝐻 to a disciple. 𝐿𝐻𝐻 is waiting patiently until it's time to knife someone again. Who else do we have here? Sylvia, Saliba, Hope Clifton, Neville, and a need. Very good, very good. I think we are going to go to the auction house. I know they have in their catalog an item that I would very much like to acquire, though of course we'll have to get lucky if we want to get it soon. Traveling at night, not what I'm looking for, but let's bid on it anyways. Yeah, 2 more occult scraps. Useful, useful. Our affliction is cured. And let's read it right away. Hello, Earl of Rats. Indeed. Cultist Simulator, playing as the medium from the GHOUL DLC. This is my first time playing that particular DLC, though I have finished all of the legacies in the base game, including the 3 New Game Plus legacies. But as far as the GHOUL is concerned, or the medium question mark, I am not exactly knowledgeable on what to do. So I hope you enjoy your time here. Yes, seek out the secret places of the city. There are places in the city where I can find extraordinary things, if I can sift the clues of history and rumor. Really? I mean, from what little I've played of it thus far, I did quite like the GHOUL. Though, to be fair, I don't have much experience with it yet. Traveling at Night, Volume 2, the annotated dream journal of Christopher Illipoly, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. This is the 2nd volume. There is an extensive discussion of the similarities between Illipoly's own dreams and those of the Emperor, Elagabalus, who Illipoly regards as a dupe or avatar of the Sun in Rags. The white is west of the world, Illipoly remarks, and winter does not wait forever. Just dream again of the white door. In my dreams, I know the path to the white door through the bounds, but that path is thronged with the dead who passed away and will need health to resist that chill. Now I can approach the white door through the bounds. Now I can press my fingers to it, feel its chill, watch it swing open. As it opens, my mouth closes, tightens, heals over like a lost deformity. Around and about me is the cobalt light of the mansis. Alright, and we have sent newly promoted Eldritch here to get rid of a certain annoyance at work. Glover Jr. Quite a demanding superior, and I think our work would be a little easier if he were out of the way. Plus, in time, that vacant board seat he'll no doubt leave behind could be ours. But I think for now, we'll not chase that promotion, because being on the board does also bring its own risks. So instead, let's continue along the improvement of our health. Bleak thoughts, but no despair to fuel it. Very nice. What shall we find here? The Congregation of St. Felix of Schüren, a nonconformist enclave of a heterodox sect of a Calvinist offshoot, tucked away in an odd corner of the city. They belt out hymns with unsuitable gusto in a throat-scraping language that is very much not quite Latin. Not quite Latin probably refers to Fuchin. I don't know quite what it's pronounced, but the language of the people spoken by the people around Lake Fucino during the late Roman Republic, I believe. And let's also explore this occult scrap. Some vitality. Lodge of the Satan. Erudition. I've always mispronounced that. Erudition, not erudition. Okay. The white door opens. In last night's dream, I was behind the lodge of the Sage Knight, behind the white door. It is difficult to remember exactly how I came there. And the mistress of the place, the woman with the dark glasses, 𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬, was nodding as if I had asked her a difficult question. Of course I hadn't. I lost my speech when I passed the white door. "How is it that I can speak?" she said to me. "I didn't come here through the white door. I'm not proud of what I did to come here. So let me tell you about something else." Yes, becoming along or even a name does carry certain prices with it. And we've also read Traveling at Night. 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 found his way to the white door at last, thankfully. Speech cut past the white door, and honestly, 𝐀𝐸𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 never had anything very interesting to say. I tried to follow in his footsteps, but I never learned enough of the white door. I suppose I'm thankful for that too. But here's what I do know. A sexton's secret. Certain knowledge, it is said, can be expressed only through the particular quality of silence. It has been suggested that one can only reach such knowledge with one's eyes closed, but only by mischievous commentators. Use this in a rite with a corpse and edge aspect, and the corpse in your eyes. A sexton's secret. Let me just put that one right here. Yeah, Fuchin, I looked it up. It's the language it's based on. I don't quite remember the name, but it's an offshoot of Latin, from what I understood. Now that we already have to erudition, why not actually work on our reason instead of our vitality? And for that very purpose, let us try to gain access to the stag door. We're lucky, it will be what may be lost, to which we already know the answer. If not, we may have to find another way. Oh, damn it. I hope this... Ah, my minion has returned with a trophy. The annoyance has been extirpated. A human corpse. Something we can use to our advantage. The spirit is departed. At some point the smell will be so bad you'll have to dispose of it, but here it is for now. It may attract attention. It may be used to impress the impressionable. Even after a corpse is gone, notoriety will remain. So we better make use of this before it turns into more notoriety. We already have enough heat on us as is. Speaking of which, I think 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 can help us with that. Cult business, charm. Not everyone is sympathetic to our aims, but we have problems. But if we have problems with our reputation, our disciple can probably smooth them over. Hopefully, indeed. More vitality, though, as we've just decided, we don't really need it. So, let's continue our work at Glover and Glover, curl our hands into the correct shapes, and begin. And now, with the younger Glover gone, I might rise even higher. I might, with ambition and a bit of luck, though I think for now I'm happy with my position. I already have too much notoriety, and I want to explore the city a bit before I rise to the board. This place merits closer investigation. The Forsaken Reach. Along the grey banks of the rotting river, the warehouses wait. Perhaps I have identified one where an unusual cargo was stored. We found all the expeditions in the capital, although we can find and visit the Reach several times. Very nice. Though I think for now we'll go to Strathcoin's residence. And, once again, well, actually, let's use Sylvia instead. Mr. Strathcoin has forbidden entry to his library. Unfortunate. Let's see what we can do. The house of Mr. Strathcoin, a collector of rare objects. Strathcoin will not sell his treasures, but a sufficiently cunning accomplice might gain entry. And cunning is something we can rely on Sylvia for. More erudition. Let's hope we can use it before it expires. And now, I think the time has come. A bold experiment. I need only purchase a few final ingredients, and then I can prepare the mixture. I must summon my courage and find a suitable meal. Temptation. We need for this of remembrance. Some materials, and taste. There is no turning back. The first taste. I will dine alone, or not exactly alone. Well, bon appetit. It is difficult to begin. I find that I have to concentrate my will into a jagged thing like a stone spearhead. But with each mouthful, it is easier. Yes, yes, yes. Well, at least we're resourceful. Can't let anything go to waste. And let's look at this, the Stagdoor's riddle. Where is mercy found? Answer this riddle to pass the Stagdoor, and be accounted a no. Unfortunately, we don't know that answer yet, but we're quite close. We only need to upgrade our reason further, to make it a little bit easier on ourselves, to gain that knowledge. Oh. Thank you for letting me know. Is it better that way? Very nice. Alright then. We each of us, I wrote much later in my journal, have a memory of a moment when things changed forever. Though at the time we never knew it. Perhaps the world also has those memories. I recall then that I laid down my pen and looked out past the window into the dark, but I have forgotten the other side of that moment. Perhaps I wiped my mouth. Perhaps I licked my lips. Temptation, remembrance. The cool wind that blew when the sun was red and low. The voice the waves once used. The shapes that loped beside us in the snow. All crushed behind the flat glass of time. I must revisit what was lost, though the taste of it be ripe and strange. Aspect, the claws of memory. Beneath the soil, bones. In the bones, memory. In the memory, colors. And now, a graveyard mouth. Now that I have tasted the graveyard fruit, the hunger comes often to trouble me. My mouth waters at the fragrances of decay, and my belly growls like a dog. Reduce this by feeding on remnants. Do not ever permit it to reach 7. The game may end, and not pleasantly. And we have gained a changed formula. That formula which quickens the memories of decaying flesh in the bellies of the living. Such a thing could not exist without the consent of both the flower maker and the elegiast. Elegiast? I still don't know how to pronounce it. And with the assistance of one more hour besides. And we have gained a memory from the flesh we consumed, something unexpected. Every life has its impossible corners. Yeah, maybe I'll find that out in a private playthrough, though for this one I intend to prevent from myself from finding that out, hopefully. So now, let us study our reason a little bit more, and right after that we'll use these two eruditions to gain a lesson learned. How long do we have on this? A little bit. It's a memory, so I think I'll talk to Miss Nenya about it. Yeah, I yesterday did a very brief playthrough of the Dancer, where I decided to end it prematurely by doing the Ever After Me ending. But if I return to that one, I'll instead go for the proper ending, Change. Yeah, as I've said, I've not really gone into the temptation change, but Dancer is pretty interesting. The new job it gives you is quite interesting, though at the same time it kind of suffers from the fact that the job is pretty good as far as jobs go, but you could just as easily use Glover and Glover instead, so it doesn't really feel obsolete so much as it maybe feels a little bit unnecessary. Like, you don't really need to do it, but, you know, if you play Dancer, that would be, it would be weird if you then chose to not engage with the Dancer part. What the temptation change, what pursuing the change temptation looks like, I haven't really explored yet, so I can't really make a statement on that, but it does, it looks very promising. Alright, Watchers, mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. We'll go with deception for now. Less of a risk that something goes horribly wrong, or even if it does, it won't end quite as badly as if we try base violence. I hope at least. There is some dread. Let's see, do we have to worry about it? Not really. Against the Watchers, a likely deception. Awake! Awake! They're upon us! That way! Quickly! Work at Glover & Glover. When I close my eyes, figures march behind my eyelids. When I open them, the light hurts. But the pay is more than decent. Alright, since we've explored most of the things in the city, I think I'll wait until the last of my notoriety has run its course, and after that, we'll try to ascend the board. But before we do any of that, we now have, finally, at long last, a new memory, something unexpected. Share an autre memory with Miss Nenya. Miss Nenya's expression is difficult to read today. I've become conscious of her eyes, her mouth, the lines of her face as separate objects, conjunct only by chance, like the contents of someone's pockets emptied onto a table. The world as it is. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I am sane, if that means anything. More erudition, and now, before this has a chance of decaying, let's use it. And after that, I think, yeah, we have 2 essays, 2 more erudition. We have everything we need. A fruit of truth. The white door opens. Many of the dead enter the mansus through the white door. They wander its corridors in silence until they are lost. Some embrace each other, some devour each other, some force their way into the dreams of the living. A few record their memories on the mansus stone where it is soft. They scratch with their nails, you see. Last night I read one of those memories. And we've gained 1 more fruit of truth. A detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak this where you may be overheard. Oh, wait, I've put this in the wrong spot. The Watchers' confusion. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. We'll pass in silent secrecy. Share an autre memory with Miss Nenya. Miss Nenya says nothing, but there in the gallery, I snatch my pen from my pocket, and I write, frenziedly, as if I had been given directions by someone whispering in my ear. When I follow the directions, I will find something precious. And find something we do. The Orchid Transfigurations, Volume 3. A 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. This is the original Latin. Sadly, yeah, we don't speak Latin yet, so hold on, let me reorganize this tile set a little bit. we put untranslated works down here. Oh, we really do need to learn Latin. Dream all the way out here, with the various ways to enter it. Now, let's see. What to speak of next? If we time it right... I think right about now we can use 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐻 to get rid of the notoriety this will generate right as it's created. More work at Glover and Glover. We could of course also work as a medium with the memories we gain from imbibing in a certain something, but I think for now I want to see what they do when I use the memories on Miss Nenya. My mind, the library. A lesson learned in erudition. And now, let's get a second one. Lodge of the Sage Knight. Last night I visited the Lodge of the Sage Knight. My hostess manifested as an elegant woman with fashionably short hair and dark glasses. No, she admits, I don't need them anymore. Any more than I need eyes. Allow me my sentimentalities. But you've come for knowledge, I expect. Here is a story I heard in my 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 days. You're welcome to it. Only remember me if you come to make the pilgrimage. A forgotten chronicle, a story of a city without a gate, of a queen who was not born, of a war which was not fought. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations on the continent. Yeah, we can squeeze that one down here. And let's see, what are we currently... Right. Strathcoin's treasures. Strathcoin's cozy sanctum. A fire smolders in the grate. Glass cases display hard-won trinkets. We must seize what we can, quickly. Strathcoin may already have telephoned the police. Yeah, the lore can be, what I would call, alluringly, dense. But if you pay attention to certain names and how they reappear, you do notice some interesting parallels. For example, 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 in our dream just now talked of her 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 and here we see that currently 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐻𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 edits the 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 review, so from that I at least assume that before her 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 was the editor of the 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 review, or maybe this name refers to something else that 𝐾𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 was part of. Damn it, I timed it wrong. Just a little too slow. Oh well, one bit of tentative evidence shouldn't be that much of a big deal. Strathcoin's treasures. Out into the night, we escape unseen. But the next day there are reports of a fire at Strathcoin's. Did someone knock a live coal on the hearthrug? Or did Strathcoin destroy the place himself as part of some larger scheme? Who knows? But we have what we came for. Yeah, I misremembered the timing. I should have started the charm business sooner than I had. Then there would have been a chance for it to go to the talk magnet. But, you know, tentative evidence isn't too much to worry about, and we do have Sylvia here. Oh, and we have gained a wealth of knowledge. The Journal of Alessandro Lacroix, or Croche? Prince Alessandro Lacroix spent years in secret study on the tablets taken from the Fucine marshes in central Italy. His work will allow you to decipher Fucine texts. Fucine being, you know, the language they probably speak here at the congregation. Not quite Latin. The Wainscot Histories, subtitled Stories from Behind the Walls. A miscellany of non-traditional histories compiled by William Gore, including battles not generally acknowledged and countries which appear on no map. Told in a playful, apparently fictional manner. The Treatise on Underplaces. Herein, the 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Hassot describes the bounds or underplaces of the borders of dream. He warns that they shift over time. Traveling at Night, Volume 3. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illapoy, sometimes called the only readable occultist, the 3rd volume. And The Locksmith's Dream, Stolen Reflections. The 4th volume of Theresa Galgnier's expansive work, no longer a discussion of the dreams of arsons, but a valuable survey of other works. The tone is calmer than that of Trespasses, but occasionally fearful, even paranoid. This volume was published 1926, but almost immediately recalled and pulped by the publisher, at the request of the author or possibly the authorities, depending which story you believe. A few copies survive. And what I also really like about Traveling at Night, because it has so many volumes, is that it kind of gives you an insight of the journey Theresa Galgnier took in her discovery of the Mansus. Alright, let's put these books that we can read right away here. In no particular order, and let's put this one here since it is a language book. Now, what next to explore? How is our graveyard mouth looking? We have one of them, which I think we can already get rid of. Search for promising cemeteries. Prowl the streets, seeking places of burial which are close, but not too close. Populous, but not too busy. Considering the evidence, yes, yes. Right, and now this is sadly a bit useless. No, but I have played about this far in a private playthrough, but then I decided to end that run to not spoil myself further. So yeah, I know that I can use the dedication to prowl graveyards. I know that then using the corpses with the formula gives me memories that I can use with the medium or with Miss Nenya, and that's about it. Past that, I don't know anymore what to do. But I think that's a pretty workable basis for now. Alright, good thing we used this when we did, as we're about to get more of an appetite. So, let's get some more food. A disinterment, stealthy excavations by the soft light of a hooded lantern. Ah. I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. A hunter has found evidence, real or imagined, of my sins. Let's get Sylvia on that at the earliest opportunity. And now, let's... Yes, we have time to improve our reason a little bit before it's time to eat again. Well, at least we got rid of the mystique, if nothing else. Earnest speeches, affable conversations. Send a devious minion to destroy evidence. My scheme will most likely succeed, though there is always a chance that something will grow awry. Yes, very erudite. I need to, because for the longest time I misread that as Erduition, and now Erduition is stuck in my head, so I need to remember that it's erudition. Oh, I just saw like interesting, I just saw like a split frame of the dream tile being overlaced with the heart aspect tile, because I think the reason that happened and was visible for a brief second is because the heart aspect used in present on the health card we used on the dream tile just now is what generated that heart tile. But I suspect once this goes away, the heart tile will be where it ought to be. Yes, now it's here. But for a very split second, just as the white door opened, I saw it right here over the dream tile. The white door opens. I recall my dream. This was the lodge of blue silk, flapping in the winds of the bounds at the manse's edge. And here was its mistress, who welcomed me as she welcomes all travelers. Company is nice, she confided, but I still miss my Christopher. 10 years! 10 years and not enough. But we could not have been long together. Not without touching each other. And you know what occurs when a man long lies with a long woman. Or perhaps you don't. I hope you don't. I won't tell you, just in case. I will give you a tiny gift. So, you know, in this case, the Christopher she talks of course, being Christopher Illipoi. And the other thing she references here, which is later explained by some books and also a visit to the Red Church, is that Long cannot produce offspring, or rather, if they do, as you know, she talks here, when a long man lies with a long woman, and they give birth to a child, they are overcome with the overwhelming urge, the overwhelming and unstoppable urge to commit the crime of the sky, devouring their infant like Kronos, and becoming cursed forevermore as a result. It is said that this crime and this compulsion was created by the Hour as a form of control, to prevent the Long in their service to reproduce by their own. But such things need not trouble us for now, as we are not a Long, not even not a name, not a Long, not even anything beyond that. Just mortal for the time. Yeah, it's, yeah, well, you know what they say, mercy is found only in shadow, or, well, they say it, we don't know it yet, but I'm trying to fix that, because knowing it will allow us to bypass the stack store. Alright then. The shovel strikes wood. That's a good sign. If the coffin is too far rotted, usually the remains are scant. A human corpse. And some mystique, but oh well. And I think I'll explore this Fruit of Truth in the meanwhile. We'll get rid of one of these appetites, but not the other, because I want to upgrade my scholarship before that. Which I've recently noticed is just a library card. Oh, damn it. That was mine. I was gonna eat that. You rapscallion, you. Excuse me, could you not? I was going to eat that. Well, now either Sylvia is successful or we're in big trouble. Whew, okay. My minion has returned. The evidence has been destroyed. I am a little safer. Well, unfortunately, Sylvia, no rest for the wicked. You're never going to believe this, but you're gonna have to do it again. Sorry. Yeah. It's, well, I think, in my opinion, the Wildwood Club is probably the, strongest of the cults, because having a follower with 10, moth is just so useful at getting rid of evidence. Gladwin Lake. Beneath the stark slopes of the fells, the mist-wreathed surface of the lake waits. There was a twin altar where before the Romans came, and a legend of a serpent who... There was a twin altar here before the Romans came, and a legend of a serpent who was sent to defile that altar. Interesting. Twin altar. Probably then dedicated to the witch and sister, or the sister and witch. Or both. Probably both. It's kind of hard to dedicate it to only one of them. The way through to the white door. Yeah, let's do that again. And now explore. Right. Let's send out Elridge again, because, no, not that. This. The disinterment again, because, someone stole my last snack. Tentative evidence, if you would be so kind, Sylvia. Improve my reason. Possibilities. And now... Oh yeah, we have all we need to... exercise the mind. A brighter illumination. I will follow in the footsteps of the watchman. Well... metaphorically, at least. Not literally. Not this time. We are after a different dedication. The shovel strikes wood, yes, yes. New snack secured. And hopefully this time the wary detective won't deny us our cravings. What exactly? No, I did use Lantern Lore, a Mance's Glimpse. Though you can also upgrade the Profound Scholarship with, I think, Winter? I meant, we won't be walking behind the Watchman literally, because doing so, is, you know, the purview of the knowledge dedication, and we are currently dedicated to, where is it? Here, Remembrance. Right, so now, actually, yeah, let's, embark on this expedition. The last one for a while, as once we're through here, I'm going to go to the board. Which means no expeditions for a little while until we've accrued a comfortable cushion of funds. Because, I mean, you could try juggling occult business charm and timing it perfectly so that you take up the notoriety just as it's created so that you can still safely work at the board, but that's like a whole big hassle, and I don't really want to do it, so I instead just make a pause on explorations while working the board. Favor from authority. Useful, useful. Oh, I forgot to read the text. Next time. Oh, my minion has returned, stumbling, mumbling, clumsily bandaged. They were caught in the coils of their own plan. Heal a fallen foe with talk. Some notoriety, but I mean, luckily we now have the favor from authority. So it's not too big of a deal. Ow! Damn it. Skill, a rarefied mind. My mind is glass, and my memory light. Reason and skill can increase no further. Oh yeah, right. What hungers drive us, the hunger that grows in dark earth. The taste. The particular taste, the taste which is neither fair nor foul. It comes to trouble my mouth again. My tongue will swell, my lips will blacken. The elixir has set its spores within me, and only dead flesh can quell them. Unfortunately, we're going to have to employ some light cheese to freeze the human corpse in cold storage until we have access to our temptation again. It's a bit of a cheap strategy doing this, but I'm not above some tricks. But actually, let's read this. Membership of the congregation is strictly controlled. It may even be inherited. The safest approach is to burgle the minister's residence. while he's conducting a service, but the sworn mothers of the congregation guard the place in shifts, and they are not easily distracted. Let's hope we can go for a less subtle approach then with Elridge. Where is that morsel? Ah, there it is. Alright. The elixir. I can consume remnants to preserve a little of their knowledge. From dust I may yet have to. Feast upon a remnant. Once again my appetite rises, flecked once again with shivers of revulsion. Yeah, I have one playthrough that I cheesed an unbelievable amount, which was doing a forge victory without ever founding a cult. That one I'm quite proud of. You know, winning the game through forge without ever even having a cult. Just simulator. Fascination at the lodge of the Sage Knight this time. The white door opens. Last night in the billowing blue of the lodge of the Sage Knight, I sat on velvet cushions and watched two dead contain with shining swords. They came with the place, said the woman who rules here now, the one who calls herself 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬. I was not the Sage Knight, if that's what you're wondering. He went higher in the mansis, long before I came here. My attention has drifted. The swords sparkle like falling water. The dead move like dancers. We awake with fascination. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. Let's quell that at the earliest opportunity. Although, not really that much of a need. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, white door again. It's gonna take a little while until we have the stacked doors riddle. But now that we have a rarefied mind, we can finally get rid of this. To upgrade or subvert. Oh no, wait, this one is the HQ with. Wait. Oh. Oh, I thought this was the one that requires, illumination, but it's only the knowledge one. Oh, well then, never mind, we can do this right away. I mean, once we have erudition. The wound is healed, but this one came very close to death. Silence has touched them, like snow. An old wound. Step closer to the sunset and see the first stars of night. 3 scars of the same type will kill a mortal, but that's quite unlikely. For the moment, Sylvia has gained winter. Not really that useful for our purposes. No, I guess. I mean, we are a winter cult, but we've already promoted Sylvia as far as we can, so. And if we ever need winter for a task, we'll just send a dedicated winter follower, or better yet, one of those darling maids in the mirror to do the job instead. What we need her for is this evidence. Attempt number 2. Hopefully a bit less ill-fated than attempt number 1. Ah, the monk's silence. monks, an order of guardians bound by oath and custom. They are too steadfast for the Grail's seduction. We must defeat them with edge or bedazzle them with moth. And now, their bodies lie in robed huddles, each indistinguishable from the next. Step over, move on. Very nice. Feast upon a corpse. There's sometimes something left over which must be buried again, but one can be efficient. So, how much? 2. Okay, so we should probably indulge again in the near future, but for now, let's get that erudition we need. I mean, we could also relocate headquarters to the Mithranum, I think it's called, because I'm pretty sure that one has a library, but I prefer to only relocate when absolutely necessary. Right, treasures lie before us, very nice. And what do we got? A fruiteth tree. Right, we read that one already. And let's go at it right again. Tampering with records? Come on, I know you can do it. Ha! Nice. My minion has returned, the evidence has been destroyed, and I am a little safer. I knew I could count on you, Sylvia. And now, let's talk to Miss Nenya. A painting of a dark-skinned woman with snow-colored eyes and close-cropped ivory-colored hair. She stands before a small marble tomb, overgrown with star jasmine. The painting is signed Jonas B. Munch, 1811. It's also, one thing I really like as a detail is just with anything that concerns winter, the writing is so, is so good at concealing the fact that basically everything is pure white. So, with the exception in this case of her skin, you know, snow-colored eyes, so white eyes, white hair, for a white tomb with white flowers. Alright, we can also do that, but I figured out that's not really a good idea. Share a joyful memory with Miss Nenya. Miss Nenya's eyes are warm. Secret devotions. The minister's bedchamber is grand in proportion, but sparsely furnished. Beneath the window, a feathered ornamental axe rests besides an enameled chalice drum on a little altar of yew wood. Huh, interesting. Feathered ornamental axe, which is, you know, of course, the horned axe, probably, or, you know, in dedication to the horned axe, which is I think that horned axe was Nock, right? Which also heavily implies that the congregation of Saint Felix of Schüren is where the priest legacy starts out, because the priest legacy is related to Nock, that much I know, and this is probably a church dedicated to Nock. I haven't played that one yet, but I'm guessing that probably means this place isn't going to be available to explore in that legacy because, you know, it's our own headquarters. So basically we just robbed the priest legacy. Oh, also, I think I just noticed, because earlier we robbed Stethcoin, his locale is, I think, the only one that doesn't become available as a potential headquarters later on, because, you know, as the text states, it burned down. Ah, nice. Okay, then. Priest Legacy is probably the one I'll play on my own time next. Because... Right, yeah, I mean, that was my plan already, because I had just finished, if prematurely, the Dancer Legacy by Ever After Me. And I'm currently playing Medium on stream, and Exile, to be entirely honest, scares me a little, so I'll save that one for last. Alright, we have our erudition now. Mance's Glimpse with Mance's Glimpse. Study the glorious lore. There's a proverb among practitioners of the invisible arts. Glory visits the house without walls. I would like to know about glory. Cemetery is about to become unavailable, but we can always find another one. Miss Nenya says nothing, but I match her smile. Contentment. I'm happy, I think. Contentment defends against dread, but contentment doesn't last. Alright, okay, so I probably won't use something joyful on Miss Nenya again, because, I mean, contentment is nice, but there are other easier ways to get it, so I think in the future I'll use something joyful on the medium work instead. Though again, I mean... Oh! Oh! One more treasure. I should not neglect this last piece of priest. It will, no doubt, be chewy, but there is power and knowledge within. Huh, I didn't know that could happen. Alright, so going on expeditions can give you corpses. Well, chewy and no doubt savory. Bit of a graphic description, but I think we're well past that concern at this point. Alright, what have we got? Debellis Murorum? Or maybe it's French, but I think it's rather Latin probably. So, Debellis Murorum. An 18th century epic poem by the pseudonymous Solipsistos. Or maybe it's Greek? No, probably not. Chion at Abydos. A play dealing with the nine-year sojourn of a snow goddess in the Thracian city of Abydos by Apollo Fireweaver. It enjoyed success in London in its 1892 edition, when it was republished from, apparently, an older Greek text. Alright, let's add that to the currently readable books. We've gotten another 𝐀𝐩𝐩𝐿. 𝐀𝐩𝐩𝐿, ausführliche Grammatik der griechischen Sprache. A Greek grammar, an essential weapon for a ferocious struggle with a challenging language. But a struggle we've already won, so let's sell this at the auction house at the earliest opportunity. Though for now, should we do that right away? Yeah, sure. Sell something of minimal value. This oddity is probably worth something, but it's hard to be sure. Forgotten Chronicle. I think we've read the text on that one already. Probably should have made sure, but yeah, well. Wisdom is a country, and these are its maps. Solve all the challenges. Luckily, we have all we need for that. Leathery remnant. Oh, okay, so it gives you unique remnants to boot. Sense memories and longings, the secrets of the knot. In an unpromising scrap of old self. Fascinating, okay. Oh, and that probably gives you, instead of memory, Elegiast's prize, I'm assuming at least, because this looks like it'll give you something unique, which probably you shouldn't squander on the medium. I'm guessing. Maybe it'll be a regular memory, but... should we... Let's see here. Let's go through the white door one last time. Why not? And let's this time actually visit the Orchard of Lights. I go there far too infrequently. Auction, a total lack of interest. No one is interested. The auctioneer's gavel bangs. My item is sold, but for a sum so trifling as not to be worth recording. Yeah, I mean, but one fund is one fund. Better than nothing. Challenge knowledge, and we have the erudition. Almost said it wrong. Erudition we need. Glover and Glover. Alright, now we have all the thingies out of the way that we wanted. So we could ascend right away where we have 2 notoriety. We'll wait until those are gone and then we'll make our move. So first let's wait a second. There should be a space here. Let's get Clavette again. And hopefully destroy one of these 2. Probably should have waited a few seconds, because then we could have destroyed the Mystique. But, yeah, well. The auctioneer's gavel bangs. My item is sold. For not much, but something is better than nothing. No, actually, let's explore this instead. Uncover sites in the shires that feature in the histories. Odd nooks remain in the quiet countryside, here and there, for those who know where to look. Let's put this right here so that we don't forget. The Orchard of Light. A pulsing airs. The hours have been called unmerciful, but they permit sleepers sometimes to walk in the Orchard of Lights, where each fruit glows like a sunset, where the roots of the trees are shaped for peaceful rest, where the mist soothes the heart. I was there last night, and the taste of the fruit lingers, sharp and sweet as the passage of spring to summer. A rising power, a reassuring energy. And actually, I'm not sure, but maybe, can we? Sadly not. I thought maybe because it's a heart influence we could cure our affliction with it, but, well, let's buy medicine then instead. The medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect I am being poisoned. Now I understand. Earnest speeches, affable conversation. The standards of daylight society cannot apply to us. But perhaps we won't emphasize that point. Perhaps we'll rely on charm and good humor. I've supplied elegant platitudes about the high principles of our organization. We found Keglin's scratch. Here the Romans dug for silver until they reached the unsanctioned space where the names hid things not fit for sunlight. Many others have come since then, even as the tunnels crumble. Some have never left. Ah, so the Romans dug too deep. Interesting. And I realize we have too many fruit of truths. Oh well, it's not the worst thing. Also, we should move all of this a little bit to the right. Oh! Alright, that's good to know. Let's test it. Ah, looks like you're right. Thank you, that's very useful. The glorious lore. I've increased my mastery of the glorious lore, which we call by its aspect, lantern. An unmerciful mantra. Mercy, saith the watchman, is found only in shadow. And now we know the stag door's riddle's answered. Where's mercy found? Only in shadow. So saith the watchman. Saith, rather. Alright, I think the time has come to fuel our ambition. Feast of the honeyed dove. I can consume remnants to preserve a little of their knowledge from dust. I may yet have to. Chewy. Yeah, I really... I also just enjoy playing the game in general, but playing a legacy for the first time is really... There's nothing like it, just the feeling of figuring this stuff out, of how the mechanics work. It feels really good. Probably best other example I can think of would be Outer Wilds, or I guess in more recent memory, the blueprints actually reminded me a lot of this game. Not really mechanics-wise, but just like the feeling of uncovering stuff. Damn it. Earnest speeches, affable conversation. No one understands us, or else they understand us too well. That's a bit of a problem since we just applied to the board, but... I mean, it should probably be fine. Wolf Despair prowls elsewhere. Very good. The sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Oh, one thing I will say about the Dancer DLC that I do have an issue with. It's a DLC that relies a lot on health, which isn't a problem, but then sometimes it can just happen that you suddenly get sick in the early game when you don't have much health, and it can seriously mess up whatever you had planned. Which, maybe that's by design, but it feels very frustrating when it happens. Right, we have... Girby's riddle. In my dream, I will stand again before the stag door, a ridged barrier of blood-streaked horn, broken long ago, not yet quite healed. A vast and golden head, Girby, will await the answer to my riddle. An implacable answer, only in shadow. So saith the watchman. Mortal frustrations. Chewy. Something? Oh no. It's a luxurious memory. Pleasure like the sea is ancient. Pleasure like the sea precedes the conscious human soul. But like the sea, pleasure is different in every age and every hour. Paint with this memory to bring it to full awareness. Interesting. Oh, good thing then. Oh, okay, it also doesn't decay. That's good. Interesting, interesting. Alright. And we already have the... Yeah, I mean... Luckily, I only used the wiki for, one, maybe two, no, I think for the, Lantern Apostle, Legacy, the Lantern New Game Plus, that one I used the wiki for because it was the first of the apostles I tackled, and I think it's at the same time also the most complicated one. So I don't think I could have figured that one out without the wiki, but for the others, I've tried my hardest not to use it. But yeah, it doesn't feel great when you have to use the wiki, because oftentimes you also find something there that you didn't want to find. But yeah. Oh, I just noticed there's a part of the wood in the outline, in the silhouette there of the raven. Specific moth aspect to complete the... No, I don't... Huh, I'm not sure about that. I know I'm pretty sure regular lantern was the first of the victories I've gotten. I don't know. I don't remember if there was anything about moth lore there. But again, it's the first one I did, so the one that the most time has passed since I did it, so my memory on it is a little hazy. I have quite a lot of Greek books. How much graveyard mouth? One graveyard mouth. But I mean, we're busy anyway, so what to study? Quite a few normal books too. I mean, what lore are we lacking? We have Lantern, we don't have any Forge, so let's read Traveling at Night, Volume 3. 𝐫𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐬's disquisitions on fire and the unburnt god are interrupted by passages of distractingly erotic poetry addressed to Baldomera. Baldomera, or the Baldomerian, is one of the names of Theresa Galmier, also known as the mistress of the Lodge of the Sage Knight. And she talked about 𝐫𝐤𝐬𝐬, and now, yeah. And now I guess he talks about her. Because, yeah, I think all of the standard victories only need, like, a lot of, lore of the respective aspects. So, the Lantern victory needs, I think, 21 or 27 Lantern. Glover and Glover. Still the senior position. Let's keep it like that for now until that notoriety's gone. This place merits closer investigation. Yeah. Major Lantern Victory. That's also the one that I need to use the wiki for. Though, for me, the part I couldn't figure out is that I didn't know you could, well, I didn't know that you needed to summon 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬, and I didn't know that you could summon 𝐀𝐀𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 because I didn't know that you can use, Secret History's lore in a summoning rite, because that's never, because on the other lores, there are clues there how you can use them to summon things, and since there's nothing on Secret Histories, I never considered the fact that you can use them in a, that you can use Secret History in a ritual, so I didn't know you could summon 𝐀𝐀𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 from the lodge. Alright, for now let's not apply to the position of board, because, you know. Earnest speeches, affable conversations. Entering the stag door. The stag door is the Adept's Gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head, 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬, weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. Very nice, very nice. Is that restlessness gonna become a problem? Probably not. To reach the stag door, oh, funny coincidence, I believe that all you really need is to want something enough. But I've never wanted anything that much, except of course Baldemora, and I'm very much afraid that the knot in the story is this. What Baldemora wants is the stag door, but here's something I learned in Persia. Perhaps I'll teach you what you want. Very interesting, that prose, because it both teases that Forge is the dedication of desire or power, and the fact that you need your desire to reach the stag door. It's like, that's an interesting thing. Also one of the cool things, once you do already know how the game mechanics work, noticing all the clues that were there in plain sight, in hindsight, if you play the game again. Yeah. Some of the stuff really is. Especially, I think, in the base game, I think it's all doable, but in the Apostle stuff. Like, I think the base game I didn't need to ever look up the wiki, but yeah, for the Apostles. But at the same time, they are meant to be the most difficult legacies, because, you know, they're New Game Plus. You need to beat the game in the standard way to even unlock them. So I think for them it's fair that they're like really, really difficult to figure out. But yeah. So I do wish I hadn't had to open the wiki for them, but at the same time I don't really fault the game that much for it. Like, I can forgive it in this case. Ah, okay. Yeah, hopefully. If I ever get stuck, I'm probably gonna do, probably gonna start another medium playthrough, in my own time on a separate save, because I think being stuck on stream is probably not that entertaining, doing the same thing over and over and getting frustrated. So, but thanks for the heads up, so, let's hope that I'll be able to figure it out, though. Right, let's search for some more snacks. And in the meantime, Wainscot Histories, Debeles Murorum. I think this one, yeah, I think this one gives edge. The poem elliptically describes a war between beasts, weather phenomena, and arcane concepts. It's quite specific about their tactics. Yeah, this one definitely gives edge. Sometimes the color of the... you shouldn't always judge a book by its cover in this case, because sometimes the colors are deceiving, but other times they do give you a clue as to what lore you'll get from it. Like, Treatise on Underplace is purple and it gives you knock. The Locksmith's Dream Stolen Reflections, I think, does actually give you moth. Orchid Transfigurations give you Grail and Heart, respectively. But at the same time, I, for one, am somewhat colorblind, so sometimes I'm not sure if a book is actually yellow or green, edge or lantern. And, you know, other times, like I think this one gives you a play dealing with a 9-year sojourn of the snow... Although, no, maybe it does actually give you winter, but I know some books are white, but instead they give you lantern, which I guess also makes sense, because lantern, while it's yellow in-game, it is also associated often with pure white light. Alright, the Stag Door. Let's visit the Painted River. Fascination. The Stag Door opens. I dreamt of the mansus behind the white door, of the great space above the orchard, the space that overlooks the bounds, the space where the vagabond once painted her river. Painted ships passed upon the painted river. I met the painted eyes of a painted captain. She saluted, and the motion was like the layered movement of clouds. The sail of the ships was amber, and the captain's eyes the green of new barley, and the river aquamarine. Now that I'm awake, I see those colors still. And we've gained fascination. Let's see, what's the next? Oh, that's not great. A trembling in the air. The sun flickers like a shadow. Dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world, and our fascination will provoke visions. But on the upside, the last of our notoriety is finally gone, so let's work. And hopefully we'll get that promotion. Oh, Euler! Nice to see you too. As you can see, we are still on the medium. I've gotten a bit further now. And as you're soon going to notice, we've become a bit of a foodie on this run. You'll see what I mean soon enough. Oh, yeah. You're right. Oh, damn, that's... Oh, that's a Cultist Simulator moment right there. Although, hold on. Damn it, no, we can't freeze it anymore. Although, I mean, theoretically, we can... I think if we... Yeah, we can paint and then freeze if we do this and this, and then put it in here for just a second. Ta-da! And instead, let's use this, the luxurious memory. Pleasure like the sea is ancient. Pleasure like the sea precedes the conscious human soul, but like the sea, pleasure is different in every age and every hour. Paint with this memory to bring it to full awareness. Forgotten colors. I remember colors that are gone from the world. I dare not reproduce them faithfully, even if I could. But I could pay tribute to them if I had a canvas worthy of the task. Although... No, wait, hold on. I think we probably need winter pigment for this, so let's not use it yet. Maybe we don't, but the chances are that we're going to need winter pigment to fully make use of the luxurious memory. So instead, let's paint. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's lore, so that would be esoteric art. I mean, we could paint, yeah, sure, why not? Cemetery. In the waking world, as in dreams, the dead are most often found below. And now, Euler, you're about to see what I meant with, oh right, dread, we could have used as well. Whatever. As long as the next season isn't one of dread, we should probably be fine. This is what I meant by a bit of a foodie we've become. Stealthy excavations by the soft light of a hooded lantern. And let's do occult business charm, because I think this is about to generate some notoriety. Because, you know, esoteric art, those who know will understand. As will the Suppression Bureau. The colors of the night. And I'm gonna add some refulgin. And hopefully we'll get something amazing out of this. Alright, and... stag door, yeah. Entering the stag door. Study the Bellis Murorum by Solipsistos. The two one joined, and the horned distinguished, consequently blood. Yeah, as I suspected, edge. Chiliarch's lesson. This is the bone-deep story of the 1,000-man learnt in antiquity of blood and its exits. To speak it aloud is to hear the sword hiss. What I think is interesting, because the 1,000-man is, I think, the Colonel. What I think is interesting about the Colonel and his name, the Colonel, is that it's implied that he was, that he at least lived during Roman times and maybe was some kind of Roman general. Which is interesting because, of course, the colonel as a military rank didn't exist back then, which implies that the name the colonel is one that he's only gotten in modern times. Because, you know, it's a military rank currently registered. So maybe he was called another name in antiquity. Alright, Earl of Rats, it was a pleasure to have you. I hope you enjoyed your stay here just as much, and I hope to see you again one day. Alright then. The shovel strikes wood. That's a good sign. If the coffin is too far rotted, usually the remains are scant. We gain some mystique and what we came for. A human corpse. The spirit is departed. At some point the smell will be so bad that you'll have to dispose of it, but here it is for now. It may attract attention. It may be used to impress the impressionable. Even after the corpse is gone, notoriety will remain. And we should be quick in using this thing before the detective finds it. So let's use the formula here. The feast of the honeyed dove. I can consume remnants to preserve a little of their knowledge from dust. I may yet have to. Bon appetit. Yep, that is what I meant. Well, they call it the ghoul for a reason. Once again, my appetites rise, flecked once again with shivers of revulsion. And we have to do this every single time a season of ambition comes around, because each time we get ambition, this aspect increases by once. Graveyard mouth. Now that I've tasted the graveyard fruit, the hunger comes often to trouble me. My mouth waters at the fragrances of decay, and my belly growls like a dog. Reduce this by feeding on remnants. Do not ever permit it to reach 7. The game may end, and not pleasantly. Feast upon a corpse. There's sometimes something left over which must be buried again, but one can be efficient. Okay, I'm hearing some commotion outside. Hopefully it's not the Suppression Bureau. Alright, what can we explore next? I mean, we found everything in the Shires, but at least we can find the road to 𝐀𝐩𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Finished. This will show to best advantage in utter darkness, like us all. Something unique. I have made something unique, something extraordinary, something I will never dare to exhibit publicly. This cannot possibly see daylight. It will earn no funds. But we don't really care about that. Oh, 2 notoriety it will generate, but oh well, that's fine. 2 notoriety, an intensity of radiance, light dews the skin and suffuses the air, a 6th order influence of lantern, and the door in the eye. He came for the glory, from the glory we cannot help but see. A painting of 8 lantern influence. This will be quite useful in rites. So the 2 notoriety are well worth it. Oh, hello there, Moonwings. Good evening to you too. As you see, we are playing once again the medium, and we have accrued a peculiar appetite. Mmm, yummy. There's sometimes something left over which must be buried again, but one can be efficient. And from the dead flesh, we remember something joyful. Delight does not endure for long, but sometimes it endures longer than do we. And our appetite is slaked somewhat. Or actually in its entirety. So we can lay off the cuisine until the next season of ambition rolls around. What to study in the meantime, though? What do we have? What do we have? Shion at Abydos. What lore do we need? I mean, we kind of have everything. Hold on, this is ordered wrong. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, we have every lore. So, though I think having some more luck would be good. So, her sword's treatise on underplaces. The walls of the mansus, her sword begins, are the size of starlight. Many of his directions are equally unhelpful, but common relationships do emerge. Yes, minutes, eras, hours, perhaps? Right, earnest speeches, affable conversations. And, we could study this if we want to, but we don't really need to. Yes, I mean we invoke them often enough, don't we? I don't know, but I just the mental image of, oh, so when did you say you would come over? Oh, in a few minutes times 60. Just the idea of like cultists being afraid to use the hour's name in vain. That seems very inconvenient, but also very funny. The stag door opens. Last night, Girby was talkative. He spoke his siege engine voice. In his siege engine voice of the histories he'd overheard in the waking world. I listened until his stories tailed off again into weeping. A forgotten chronicle, a story of a city without a gate, of a queen who was not born, of a war which was not fought. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations on the continent. Most of them, I think, most of the locations you get with the Chronicle are in France. But wouldn't a rounding... I mean, I guess a rounding of the minute arm, I guess that could work. Alright, so now that this has taken up both of our notorieties, I think... Oh right, our passions are dimmed anyway, so never mind. But, I mean, they do recover before the window of opportunity closes to use them towards ambition, so let's do that. Yeah, that could become quite chaotic quite quickly, but I think the hours only really pay attention once you invoke their actual names. Alright, I mean there's a chance that the detective will fail to convert this notoriety to clues. But he'll probably do it, so... What can we explore? The last bit of fruit of truth. Why not? That one I think will lead us to 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Oh, I've just realized. Ah, okay. Yeah, the last location in the Shire is 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬, and she edits for the 𝐀𝐻EHAM Review, and the hostess of the Sage Knight Lodge talks of her 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 days. Ah, now I get it. Okay. Oh wait, no, we already have 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬. Ah, stupid. Okay, so we wasted this for Fruit of Truth. No matter. 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬, drive through the downs to the coast where the grey-green lands meet. Greenland meets Atlantic grey. Search along the road for signs to 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 town. You will rarely find it, even if you have visited before, and its inhabitants guard their secrets with curse and cudgel and fast-bolted door. You found all the expeditions in the Shires, although you can find and visit 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 several times. 𝐀𝐩𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 also has, uniquely, the same name in every history, a trait it only shares with a few other places, like for example Vienna. Some solitude to combat our dread, not that we'll need it. Study Hussau's Treatise on Underplaces, a picaresque account of a journey through nightmare, interspersed with what might be partial rites. On the 18th ascent is the bud, on the 36th ascent, the blossom. An 𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 sacrifice before it will open. The Iguvine rites prescribe the manner of the sacrifice. Nearly every summoning rite requires knock influence. This lore will provide it. Very nice. That'll help us summon later on, hopefully, some maids in Mirror, my beloved. Yeah, I mean, it is a British town, so, you know. Let's see. Locksmith's Dreams, Stolen Reflections, Wainscot Histories. This one I think we want. Xion at Abydos. Because I think this gives us winter. A play dealing with the 9-year sojourn of a snow goddess, so, you know, that's probably winter. The entity called Xion arrives in a blizzard and demands the city gates are barred. As Abydos falls under her spell, the dead turn, but do not speak. Okay, yeah. This is very definitely winter lore. Let's see, senior position. Oh, we forgot to, apply our passion into ambition, but maybe we'll have more luck this time. Yeah, I'm going to play Book of Hours for the first time once I finish this playthrough on stream. That's going to be our next project as far as gameplay is concerned. I've been putting it off ever since it launched, specifically so I could do the first time here on stream. So I am quite excited for that. Let's see here. The Painted River or the Ascent of Knives? I think we have had quite enough of the Painted River for now, so let's try the Ascent. An urgency of appetite. The Ascent of Knives is called the Sharp Stare, and the Mother of Mirrors, and the Mother of Mirrors, and the Feast of the Grail. If one is to look beneath the stare, as I did last night in my dreams, one understands that name. It draws a tithe of blood from the feet of those who ascend. Empuzai? Some shaped like Empuzai. Some shaped like men, many shaped like women, wait beneath the glass of the stairs to satisfy their hunger. I did not approach, I made no sound. I only observed. An urgency of appetite. It is difficult to control oneself. A sixth order influence. Significant resonances or correspondences. Yeah, pretty sure that one got updated not too long ago. Hold on, this goes here, and sure, let's dream again of the stag door. And I think once we have that position at the board, we'll also turn our attention to getting the final tier in health. What did this decay? Oh, right. The, what was it? The lantern influence. Yeah, okay, 𝐀𝐩𝐩𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 have one of those at a time, but turns out you can actually hoard them. That's good to know. And now, let's attend the auction house, because there's something I want from there. That's something being Stumm, the German silent film, because that one gives you a very useful ride. One of my favorites, because it's very easy to fuel with the proper stuff, and it's probably one of the easiest to summon things with. Bid in auction, a volume 1 of A Locksmith's Dream. Yeah, we want that. We want that. Particularly because I think we've read every other. We have every other one. Either. I mean, some of them we've already read. The 4th one we have here. I think there are only 4. But yeah, I think this one completes the set, which would be cool. Oh, right, and we also have this unattended church. The minister disappeared one night, quite abruptly, with his inner circle and the church's chiefest treasures. He is widely assumed to have gone to a better place, possibly a sunny place beside a shining sea. We could recruit his leaderless flock, and make this our base of operations. Yeah, one funny thing is I'm pretty sure the congregation here is the place you start out in the priest legacy, because if you look at it, it's like bright purple, and some other stuff about the congregation points towards Nock, and the priest legacy starts you out as a priest of a congregation and is also about Nock. So I think I haven't played Priest yet, but I'm guessing you probably don't have the congregation as a exploration site there, because, you know, that's where you already are, and maybe you even start out at the unattended church as your first headquarters. Shion at Abydos. For 8 years the city is a place of slow death, frosty ecstasy and silent beauty, but in the 9th year, a conspiracy of shouts is mounted against the quiet that Shion demands. The conspirators open the city gates, and a scarred man comes to drag Shion out by the hair. Summer returns, but the conspirators die of remorse. Yeah, I think the main thing is that the hours, for one, don't really... It's not that they dislike worship, but they don't really seem to care for... they don't seem to want it either way, and doing so is pretty dangerous. So, you know, most people who find out about them usually meet their end, and because of how dangerous it is, worship of them has been widely shunned. Probably originally by the monotheistic religious institutions like the Inquisition and stuff, and these days by the Suppression Bureau. Right. Do we have to worry about fascination in the near future? Nah, not really. The cemetery, also not that useful right now. What else? We could attract more followers. Really? No, which part you mean? What to use for talk? I think, yeah, let's recruit, let's find some more acquaintances. Tentative evidence. I mean, okay, yeah, but that is very true. Survivorship bias? What survivorship bias? A promotion! Yes! My son, the elder Glover confides, was a dear boy, but he did lack ambition. You, on the other hand, burned with it. I see myself in you. Do you know that? I do. Well, I think we can find your place on the board of directors. Nice. Board seat at Glover and Glover. The younger Glover's disappearance left the board seat empty. I now occupy it. I mean, that's true. Bias is a privilege of the living, so why not enjoy it? The hours of the working day wait in ranks before me. I might just go home after lunch, using the god's name in vain again. Not even capitalized. SMH, my head. Yes, dying. I mean, in this game, dying is very much a skill issue. About to die? Just say no. The Mansus cannot claim your soul without your consent. Right, another Forgotten Chronicle, courtesy of Girby. I mean, let's see here. Yeah, we need much higher influences to reach the spider's door. The Beru, which one was that again? I've won the auction. Oh, damn. I really need to remember to pay attention to the auctions, because it so often happens that I completely forget about them, and then someone else matches my bid and I lose the auction. This time it didn't, but and every time I think to myself, damn, I really need to pay attention to those goddamn auctions, and then I don't. Alright, we now have the final few volumes of the Locksmith's Dream, but actually let's start with the fourth one, because that one has a higher value, which means it probably contains better knowledge. Janus is the gatekeeper, the twin god, the god that wounds, the presager of changes, the sun, the moon. So we identify him with the Watchman, the twins, with the Mother, with the Forge, with the Meniscate, and the Madrugad. He cannot be all these, can he? The Flamines knew the church, knew the dry land, knew the Eligibalus. Is he then Synthesis, or is he something else? In Galatia they called him Janus Lamius, but the Obliviots are notorious for their slanders. Okay, so I understood, like, the first half of that, but then, yeah, like, at the auction house, damn it, I've lost the auction again. Well, why did you not match his bid? Well, I was too busy dreaming of the house without... I mean, dreaming of, a puppy. Yes, that's what I was dreaming about. That's why I lost the auction, trust me. Alright then. Oh, I almost forgot. We have something joyful here, which I think I'll use to generate profits. Because talking with Miss Nenya about something joyful just gives us contentment, and let's be honest, we don't really need that. Glover and Glover. If Glover and Glover had a heart, it would be the accounts department, where the money flows like the tides of spring. Its limbs would be the brisk, hushed administrators and clerks. But I sit with the other directors at the peak of its skull, safe, for now, from scandals and financial concerns. Nice. You know, you might think that the game is saying something about the fact that you make the most money with the board seat at Glover and Glover while having to put in literally no effort in the form of reason, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence. So let's, instead though, before we forget this, figuratively and literally, this memory, let's use it in a clandestine consultation. My reputation as a performer is ruined. My reputation as an oracle is only begun. But the authorities have their eye on me. Remembering the dead, something joyful. It might not necessarily be memories of my client, but it is something true. Yeah, mind your damn business. What, can I not, violate the laws of space-time in peace? I mean, geez, can a guy even snack on some, leftovers in peace? An urgency of appetite. The ascent of knives is called the sharp stare. Alright, we already read that one pretty recently, so no need to do it again. I do need at least somewhat to look after my voice. Speaking of which, actually, allow me to take a... Damn it. My flask is empty. Oh well, suffering it is then. Read this volume of the locksmith's dream. Janus has, they say, not one face but two, to which I reply, why only one? Why only two? Rousseau and Cosley, according to Thomas Love Denham, once agreed that Janus was all the gods and none. But later Rousseau insisted he was all the gods, and Cosley favored simply none. Denman was a sinister dilettante, but this rings true of them both. So I know, I remember the name Cosley, and of course Rousseau is mentioned pretty often, but Denman I don't think I've heard of before. Fascination, an Ecdysius parable, and an unmerciful mantra. Very nice. That really does bolster our knowledge of the Mansus. Oh, and we can combine these two to, I think, gain entry to the spider's door. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can hide quite a bit in a Warhammer book. I mean, if you just use like a chaos source book, it already talks about cults, so, I mean, you know. Ah, this place merits closer investigation. Fermier Abbey. Robert Fermier spent much of his unsavory fortune on the endowment of his monumental, forest-crowded abbey. The monks dislike visitors. Their ways are not exactly orthodox. They celebrate a certain harvest festival with unsavory vigor. Interesting. They say here not exactly orthodox, and if you convert the unintended church to your headquarters, it's the heterodox church. So I wonder if Fermier Abbey is also heterodox, if that's what they're alluding to. Well, anyways, we'll explore it later. Yeah, I don't know, sometimes the tension music just plays at random. I don't really know why, but it is enough to give me the heebie-jeebies each time. Remembering the dead, something joyful. Enough for now. My client's tears are welcome, even to them. We gain contentment, mystique, and some funds. Nice. Okay, so yeah, something joyful does always make sense to use for work instead of talking about it with Miss Nenya, because she only gives you contentment, and this also gives you some gold to boot, so it's better. Remembering that for the future. Not that we really need gold here at the board. Religious schism in this history? Surely you jest. Oh yeah, if all the if all your favorite religions told you to jump out of a window, would you do it? Alright, explore. Sure. More places to go explore in the most evil and forsaken of all places, France. Yeah! Oh, look at that. Valsiane, an acquaintance. Nice. Our first Forge follower, potentially. Valsiane has operated her establishment for almost 20 years. She has never employed an assistant. Her hands are terribly strong. Right, let's reorganize this a little bit. We can put Suluchana down here with her club, which gives us a bit more space to put those here, and in need over here. Wait a second. Didn't we also have at some point Neville? What happened to Neville? Oh no, wait, here is Neville. Oh, also, cool detail I've just noticed, the portraits, gain symbols in the background once you've recruited them. Alright, evidence, let's get Sylvia here, our most trusted follower, in a lot of ways, to get rid of that for us. Nothing yet. I mean, we do want to keep our board seat at Glover & Glover, so we don't want to do anything too suspicious anyways. So for now, the wary detective can stay busy as much as he likes. Now, let's read the last, or I guess the first, volume of The Locksmith's Dream. The first volume of Theresa GHOUL Examination of Parallels in the Mystic Dreams of Artisans. The parallels in mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Sometimes mordant, sometimes funny. No one has ever explained why GHOUL devoted herself to this quixotic exploration of artisans' dreams. God damn it. That's a good one. But, I mean, yeah, the spider's door might be a very fitting destination for our dear detective here, although we could also show him an alternative path. Rearrange his career a bit and then welcome him among us. Oh. We're also a bit peckish again, so I think it's time we pay another visit to a certain place. Dream. Do we need to worry about that fascination? No, we don't. Okay, so Stag's Door it is then. Oh my, would you look at the time. I think I should probably find an exit point soon enough, though. An unusual vessel. I find myself an unexplained reference to a Hebe in my research, and my attention is diverted. What is Hebe? A woman? A place? A name of an hour? Well, the text here kind of spoils it already. Yeah, I mean, although I guess currently we're the Towers of the Dove, if we talk the right things to the wary detective, he might decide to change his career, and from there we could persuade him to join us. You mean the Hebe, the GB? Oh, right, the Hebe-GB. I understand. Time and again we hear of the wood which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Is there a difference between light and light? I think the key to dreams of the wood might be one of these. The one that isn't exactly real. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. Yeah, that is indeed one of the keys to the wood, but we've already found the way, so not that useful for us right now. Let's see. I think we're gonna start translating some of these books because they're higher value than the ones we already have translated. The Rose of Hypatia, marked with a triple sign of the arcane contemplative order known as the Sisterhood of the Knot, in Greek. Gotta say, I'm quite proud of the fact that I've learned to say arcane contemplative order without any stuttering. Because that's the word I really struggled with the Sisterhood of the Knot. Ah, my minion has returned. The evidence has been destroyed. I am a little safer. Very nice. I think we're going to slake our hunger for one final time, and after that we'll probably call it for the night. Yeah. Hey officer, peep this madness. Alright, thank you. Now join my club, right? Alright, talk to... I think it's high time we recruit Valsiane. Right, the cult, the associate, and the shackles. Recruit an acquaintance by invoking winter. This one is ready. I mean, I went for the winter cult for this run because, you know, it's only appropriate for the winter legacy to have the winter cult. Though I am regretting it somewhat because personally I do think winter is probably the least useful cult. It does have the advantage of the Illegibaline Manacle, which is probably the easiest Aspect 8 winter tool, Aspect 8 tool to get hold of. But I think the rank 10, the Exalted Cultists of Winter are probably the least useful. So I don't really like the winter cult that much. Yeah, I mean, the Suppression Bureau is pretty uptight, so they're not really that susceptible to bribes. Though they are very much susceptible to blackmail in the form of a favor from authority. A furious air. Of the place my dreams took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far, the pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain I could employ to occult purposes, if I hurry. Anger is implicit in every shape, a 10th order influence, a gathering knot of power and peril. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. Also, I think, yeah, the thing the Mance's text just quoted is, I think, one of the knife lores. I think the first or the third one. Yeah, I mean, it is the chillest of the aspects. Also, if you want some peace and quiet, emphasis... I mean, emphasis on both parts, because who are more peaceful than the dead? Right, yeah, sure, Stag's Door again. But very soon, I think, if we combine these two, we'll have enough to ascend higher. But I think that'll have to wait for next time. Dead as dust, yes. An unusual vessel. 𝐫𝐸𝐬𝐬 is a ship. In fact, many ships have borne that name over the centuries. All of them have provided transport and accommodation to those who know something about the invisible world, and none of them show up in shipping records. But I've learned that the steamer 𝐫𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 Stanton is docking soon in a grimy and unregarded port in a northern island. I could send someone to purloin unwatched occult luggage. The 𝐫𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 Stanton... 𝐫𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 Stanton when GB Stanton walks in. A battered but surprisingly plush steamer, not streamer. That's something else. Much used by actors fleeing scandals, by shy millionaires, by occult scholars who feel safer with moving water under them, and, just once, by the Legia Club, who chartered the whole ship for the use of 7 cabins. Right, I always put the Hebe Stanton along with the continent cards because it matches them by color, even if it doesn't have a specific place it belongs to. Yeah, I mean, you got it. Oh, damn it, visions. Oh well, shouldn't be too big of a problem. Recruit an acquaintance by invoking winter. I will speak only and exactly 9 words. The novice will speak none at all. Valsiane, a believer. Valsiane's ingenuities are endless, and her grip is stronger than a blacksmith's. Our first forge follower, and I think we can then use her to repair the Noonstone here. But I think that'll have to wait. Oh, damn it, I wanted to. Yeah, well, never mind. Too late now. So I guess we can do this right away. I think we only need I think an iron spintria is enough for the Noonstone. I hope at least. Begin translation of a text. I have prepared the text for study. The Rose of Hypatia, a volume of collected teachings of the Sisterhood of the Knot, that arcane contemplative order that existed in all histories, but in some was very powerful indeed. This was recorded by Hypatia and dedicated to Saint Nympha. Saint Nympha is described as not born but cultivated. The sentience that became the saint, Hypatia indicates, inhabited a sinner's corpse in order to enable that sinner's redemption. Yeah, ironically, the way you defeat visions is with memory, and memory is what the medium legacy is all about. Work at Glover and Glover. I wonder what's the easiest way to gain some winter pigment. Probably on some of these expeditions, but I'll have to wait on that until... well, until we've got enough money that the board seat has become less important. Right, so now the main thing I'm waiting on is until we've finished exploring this, because then we can purloin some more snacks, if you know what I mean. Blasphemous. I haven't played Blasphemous yet. I have heard of it. I know that it's like... I think I've watched like a heavily edited playthrough of it. But I don't know much of the lore. But I do know that it's heavily inspired by the flagellants of Plain Era Spain and Italy. Which I think is really interesting. Like, the idea of... basically suffering through what is an apocalypse, like the bubonic plague was like the end of the world for people back then. I don't think they can be blamed for thinking that, because holy shit, like so many people dying all at once, and their response basically being, yeah, we deserve this. It's good, actually. It seems insane and also kind of darkly comedic, but I mean, if you put yourself in their shoes, what else are you going to do? You don't know why this is caused, and you don't know what to do against it, so kind of internalizing the fact that you, or like believing that it is a miracle or that you deserve it is kind of the only reaction you really can have. Or one of the few really that are left to you. Oh wait, this needs funds, not Spintria. Yeah, that I have. The Rose of Hypatia. Not all the dead enter the manses by the winter door. Not all the dead enter the manses at all. Wood Whisper, words that walk. Words that walk. The syllables of this formula are compelling. I find myself snapping my fingers to its rhythm. It desires not to cease. Yeah, the most thing I've heard of the Lore of Blasphemous is from, maybe you've seen it, Curious Archives, excellent video, What Happens After a God Goes Mad. It's a video that talks about a bunch of media, Berserk for example, Legend of Zelda 2, a bunch of different stuff, but it also mentions Blasphemous. It's a really excellent video. It's a definite recommend from me. Alright, we've discovered Orthos Wood. The pines grow thick as hairs on a dog's back. The airs of the inner wood are chokingly thick with resin and dust. The source that brought you here claimed that in the dawn times the greatest tree, at the wood's black heart, served as perch for a great masked crow. A masked crow is probably the beachcomber, one of the hours. But for now, we'll explore something far more mundane instead, because we have gotten hungry. Search for promising cemeteries. Prowl the streets, seeking places of burial which are close, but not too close. Populous, but not too busy. And in the meantime, we'll study, we'll translate the Rose of Wasnai, marked with a triple sign of the arcane contemplative order known as the Sisterhood of the Knot. But a fourth leaf has been added, disfiguring the sign, in Greek. Interesting. I think this one was then probably written by one of their heretics. Yeah, I mean the gameplay, from what I've seen, is, you know, Souls-like, but as Metroidvania, so I imagine quite similar to Hollow Knight then, which I have enjoyed greatly, so I should probably give Blasphemous a try. The stone is repaired. It shines again as it did once before. Noon, the saying goes, is not what it was, but this polished stone still retains a sunset glow. Yes, I can only imagine what the sun was like before it was severed and split apart. What will this decay into? I mean, a thrilling air, and that, I think, becomes glimmering or something like that, I think. Alright, we have a cemetery, and from a cemetery we will glean. Yeah, the art I've seen, oh, so good. Oh, it's that gorgeous pixel art, which I already have a huge weakness of. But yeah, the art of the artwork, damn, that's some good-ass pixel art. Ooh, okay, yeah. that sounds pretty unpleasant. I mean, I still, I think, sometimes have nightmares about the Path of Pain in Hollow Knight. I don't even know if I ever finished it, but yeah, that was... I don't want to... I don't think I ever want to do that again. But, yeah, I understand your frustration. Alright, Ascent of Knives, Painted River. I rarely usually go to the Ascent, so let's see. A Furious Air again. Okay, not too useful for us at least, but sure, I'll take it. Oh, and an illness, great. So, who to speak to next? I think to speak of esoteric matters to find some new followers. And we have our next snack here. Yeah, I haven't played it myself yet, but now that I think about it, it does actually seem like it would be right up my alley, so... Mourning and Havoc, full of tank enemies with horrible... I imagine that's probably, probably an area then. Well, I brace myself in anticipation. Ooh, that's... first of all, I didn't know that game existed on the on mobile, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Alright, we've translated the roles of Vaznai. The heretical teachings of a disgraced offshoot of the Sisterhood of the Knot, that arcane contemplative order that existed in all histories, yes. This was recorded by Vaznai and dedicated to Saint Respicious. Interesting. But before we read it, I think it's time to slake our hunger. The Feast of the Horned Dove. Once again my appetite rises, flecked once again with shivers of revulsion. Feast upon a corpse. There's sometimes something left over which must be buried again, but one can be efficient. Alright, and I think now that we have slaked our appetites one final time, I think the time has come to walk towards, as is very appropriate with our dedication to winter, and the winter influence we just got, to, as they say, acknowledge an ending. But first let me read this. I visited the Ascent of Knives last night, that harshest of roads through the house. It has been sacred to the Menascate and the Sun and Rags since the intercalate, when the true sun was divided. When I woke, my room was freezing. The chill of it had cracked the window glass. Damn, okay. That's quite cold. Winter passes the clothes, passes the skin, nestles in the veins. We can probably use this, but we don't need to. We already have all the winter we need to create disciples. So yes, I think now is a good time to call it for this night, to then continue on another. But first, let me, just this once, actually remember that I need to raid people. So, allow me 1 second. I see a certain person is live right now, with the name of Captain Clive, playing Dead by Daylight. I mean, that's not entirely inappropriate, I think, to our current outing. So let's see if we can't raid that. Just need to copy that name. Copy / raid, and it was good to have you here, Euler. And like this, nice. It does work on YouTube. Sadly, we cannot raid because that feature is locked behind a certain count of subscriptions. So on that note, do be sure, before we end this, to perform those well-practiced rites of appeasement, the gods of the algorithm, if you wish. I would appreciate it. And in the meanwhile, have a nice night and safe travels.